Good morning. I'll call this May 7th meeting of the Price County Law Enforcement Committee to order. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Good morning. Jennifer Borodka is excused. Robert Kopish, Larry Palachuk,
Here.
Patricia Stephen,
Here.
and Dennis Wartko. Here. Thank you.
The first order of business this morning are the public hearings. It's a little after 9 a.m. I'll call the public hearing on section 223-44.1, habitual animal offender and premises. Public hearing is now open. Are you two going to speak on both items, or? They are. Okay, the first one up to speak at the public hearing is Jenny Strobel from town of Georgetown.
I read through these, and you know, their neighbors sometimes don't get along, and without requiring proof of bites, I can see where somebody could go over there and actually even anticipate getting a dog in trouble and maybe even hurting it, and get the neighbor in trouble. This has happened a lot. And is this just applying to complaints with no proof? I didn't see really any medical proof in this. On 39 and quite a few places it says may, it's not shall or will. And in 62 and 63, be afforded sufficient due process. What's sufficient? It really isn't defined. Unless I missed it, I didn't see anything about the bite being thoroughly checked by a medical authority. And it's talking about the unlicensed dogs that you could take. It doesn't really say that you could confiscate other dogs or animals. I usually consider it dogs. And it says 72 and 73, a warrant may be obtained for any law enforcement officer to trespass on somebody's property. And the next one, it's kind of a disclaimer. If it's found to be unconstitutional, then you can throw it out. And it doesn't seem to be too specific. And I didn't really see these dogs, you know, anything about dogs running at large biting somebody. Is this just people that are trespassing on somebody else's property and getting bitten? There were just a lot of things that I really questioned in here.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. The next one is Walt Madsen from Phillips. Walt, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm always ready. My name is Waldemar Madsen. I live in Phillips here. The main problem I have with this is that it does open it up for people. It almost feels like a red flag law for dogs. It opens up for, if you do have an issue with your neighbor, which currently I've been having an issue with my neighbor for 5 years now. She had people living on her property that had a dog consistently attacking me and my family. And even it almost got to my son one time, and I had to protect my son from it. When I came to the county board about this, there was nothing done about it. You know, I felt like we needed stronger laws. However, this one opens it up for, say she has a problem with me, she could just call and say, hey, this dog bit me. You know, it doesn't say any, it says bite in question and doesn't say proof of bite. I was a military working dog handler, and I know dog behavior very well. I would say that I would also say that my German Shepherd that I currently have is probably better trained than even the canines here in the county. So I don't know if I agree with this 100% because there's just some wording issues that I feel like need work. I think it takes away people's right to liberty as far as having a dog. I think this opens the door for more restrictions as far as what type of dog in the future could possibly be owned in the county, which violates people's rights to life, liberty, and property. So that's pretty much all I got to say. I'd like to see some wording in here changed. And then we could pass it. Other than that, thank you.
Okay, yep, thank you, Walt, for your input. Is there anyone online for public comment? At *6 to unmute yourself? Nothing, Nick? Hearing none? Okay. Hearing none, I will declare the public hearing closed and we'll go on with the meeting. Items for discussion and possible action. Is there anyone here for public comment or anybody online for public comment? Okay. Is there any other committee that has anything for communications? We'll move on to number 2, meeting minutes of our April 19th, 2026 meeting. What is your pleasure on that?
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Warco. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Good morning.
Morning.
Motion's been made by Warco, seconded by Kopish to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3. Madam Coroner, it's your moment in the sun. Give your department report.
So for those who don't know, this is Amy. She's the new appointed as of sometime in April 9th, 10th, something in there. So you want to introduce yourself and let us know who you are?
Love that. Thank you so much. Do I have to push a button? No, apparently not.
Yeah,
Okay.
press the button.
Can you not hear me?
Is it the green light on?
It is. Yep. Okay, so my name is Amy Casey. I grew up in this community here. I ran the funeral home in Phillips and Prentice for the last for 2020 to 2024. I currently work at Lakeview Pharmacy. I'm on the ambulance as an EMT, and now I'm the appointed coroner as of April 9th. So, do you have any questions? I mean,
So from the committee side, in the future, what would you, I know in the past, Mr. Del Bazio would bring just, last month there was 23 deaths, 3 autopsies. Any questions? It's very simple. It's not a lot. Is there something you as a committee would like to see from Amy?
I mean, I have numbers if you'd like them.
Sure. Give us the numbers from.
There was, well, reported to me, there was 8. And then I haven't had an autopsy from me yet, but Sue, I believe, had some prior to me transitioning in. I've had several autopsy report requests, which has been just a delight. So,
And what was I just going to say about, I don't remember. So yeah, number of deaths, the autopsies.
okay.
Maybe we could get her a copy of one of
Yeah.
Del Bazio's reports and she can see what he reported, if that's all right with the committee. And then at the end, I would always ask him if there was any survivors.
Unfortunately, yes.
There
Yes,
was
There
survivors.
was.
Okay. Does anybody have the committee have anything for our new coroner?
If you have any questions, you can come see me in my office, which is funny because I don't have one.
If not, welcome aboard.
I was gonna, how, deputies, have you deputized anybody yet?
John Harding.
Use your mic.
John Harding was deputized in March, I think, and he's still working with me. And then Sue has been, a priceless resource as well. I don't know if she's going to stay deputized or if she's just helping me
We
learn.
might double check on,
Oh.
you may have to actually deputize them under the
I think
statute.
we should get a chief deputy in case this happens again.
It's a whole different
Because,
issue.
this coroner job is a death sentence, right? Because Chess and John, when he owned the bowling alley, he was coroner and he passed away in the bowling alley. And I grew up in the bowling alley, which is a fun fact. And Jim DeBizio pronounced Chess. And then, unfortunately, Jim passed away. So,
Yeah, so under state statute, the county can make a chief coroner, deputy coroner. And so if the coroner is unable to perform their duties, then the chief would step in rather than we just had the deputies do the job while the state was appointing somebody. So it's just a matter of, we got to look at the statute and determine what that looks like.
Yep.
Oh yeah, if something were needed to be happened to the sheriff, as in arrested, that's under an under sheriff now, but normally it would be the coroner's position.
all right.
You're at a loss for words.
You very seldom see that. Well, Amy, I'm glad you had a chance to meet us this morning. If you have nothing else for us or any questions,
Not at this time.
you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. It'll be well worth the price of admission. Okay. Thank you. Number 4, District Attorney's Report.
So we'll skip that one for the moment. I did just talk to the DA. She does plan on coming down to introduce herself. So once she gets here, we'll have that report.
Okay. We'll move on to Clerk of Circuit Court Department Report.
No updates from up there. They're full staff. They're continuing to do their job as clerk of court's office. My understanding is Lisa has put in her non-candidacy, so we will have a new clerk of courts going into whatever next year is 2027. So that process has already started, which it would have been an election year either way, but there has been non-candidacy paperwork put in.
Okay, I'll accept the district attorney's report, or the clerk of circuit court, rather. Sheriff's Office Department report. Your moment in the sun, Brian.
Don't worry, Amy, I'll get you back. So we're in our report, the new ordinances. Mindy is here, the humane officer is here. If you guys want to see a little presentation that was created through a PowerPoint, can I maybe answer some of the questions that you may have yourselves in regards to it? Why is this something that was generated? And kind of, I guess, dispel some of the people that don't research these type of things and actually look into it, because it's not red flag law by any means. And there are 3 instances. We have one incident that we want to present to you that will kind of explain, because this is an issue that Mindy, as humane officer, has to deal with particular households in the county as a whole. So Mindy? Yeah? But you got the stick? Okay. Hey, Good, how are you? We're just,
If the sparks fly, Nick, pull it out.
So this is DA Nash. Larry, do you want to have her do her report while we get ready?
Yeah, that would be fine. Good
Oh,
morning.
just introduce yourself. So for those in the room or online, this is
Thank
DA
you.
Nash. March was your start appointment.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, make sure you use the mic for the.
Well, good morning, everyone.
I'm Larry Polachek. Nice to meet you. Hope you enjoy your stay here.
Push it?
Yep.
Okay, there we are. Again, good morning, everyone. I am Alexis Nash. I'm the newly appointed, I like to stand. I'm tiny. Newly appointed DA to Price County. My start date was April 6th. So it's been about 4 weeks now that I've been in this position. And so far it's going well, but I'm sure you'll let me know if it's not. Yeah, so just thank you for inviting me to your meeting. I will try to make these meetings as best I can. As you can imagine, I am quite busy and there's a lot of cases that I have to resolve. So, but I would do my best. Thank you.
Thank you. Alexis? I'm
Oh,
Bob
yes.
Popish.
Hi.
I'm one of the committee members.
Patty Steven, welcome.
Dennis Ortko.
And Larry Polachek.
Yeah.
Pay attention, there'll be a test on this later.
Okay.
Do you want to talk a little bit? So you came from the Milwaukee area as a ADA. You want to give a so?
Yes, so I began as a prosecutor about a little over 3 years ago. I started off in Milwaukee County as an assistant district attorney. When I started that position, I began in the misdemeanor unit, and then I moved from misdemeanors to felonies, general crimes felonies. So stabbings, drugs, everything but sexual assault or homicide cases. And then from general felonies, I moved to the CHIPS unit, which is focused on children in need of protective services, mostly working with parents who had succumbed to controlled substance use and their children were now then at risk. Prior to becoming a district attorney, though, assistant DA, I worked in family law for about a good year. So adoptions, custody issues and divorces and things of that nature. I would say that during my career, probably the most challenging and also most rewarding part of it was when I was in felonies and having that broad spectrum of different cases and the challenges that come with resolving those was also one of, again, like I said, one of the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding parts of my tenure as a prosecutor.
So I've gotten to know DA Nash a couple times. We've talked. So my favorite question I asked you is how many people were in the DA's office in Milwaukee compared to here?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I have to take a guess. How many attorneys are there? It's really, well, wow, we have a lot of units. Maybe close to well over maybe 30 attorneys, like maybe 50 attorneys. I'm trying to take a really honest guess. We have different units. We have the prosecution unit for homicides, which I think has about 8 attorneys. And then there's the drug unit separate into 2 different drug units. I think each one of those have about 6 or 8 attorneys, and then there's the CHIPS unit, and then there's community prosecution. So you can imagine Milwaukee County is pretty large, right? And so it requires different operating units to work together. And in each one of those units, you have about somewhere between 5, maybe 8 attorneys.
So she's coming from hundreds to, or 100 to
Something,
3
yeah.
to 3. So we have 3,
Yeah.
3.5.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do with all your spare time?
And when I find it, hopefully get on a lake. I don't know.
Well, I hope you like it here
Yeah, thank you.
and welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
You have any questions for the committee or the sheriff?
No, not at this time. I'm just, at this point, I think this being my first meeting, I'm not sure exactly what to expect. I did go over the packet a little bit. So at this point, I'm just here to listen and answer any questions that you may have for me.
Does any of the committee have anything special they want on her report? Mr. Kopish?
You know, it's been so long since we've had
Yeah,
the
in
district
person.
attorney at our meeting that I almost forgot what we used to talk about. Generally, it's the district attorney giving us kind of an update on what's going on in your area. And if you have any issues that we need to deal with, we would take that up then,
Mhm.
possibly make them agenda items at a future meeting or something. So other than that, I'm not sure what to say.
An example of that is, I believe when Carl Kells was here, he came and talked to us about, we have a lot of cases that fall under X, and it would be probably better for the county consider an ordinance, because then you could do the ordinance process rather than come through the DA's office. So it'd be examples like that. I think that was for the drug use. So we didn't have an ordinance on the books for ticketing. I don't recall exactly what, but it was, so Carl, when he was DA, came in and said, hey, we got a lot of these cases on our desk. It'd be more efficient for the county to have some type of ordinance. And then they, as a committee, can work on that type of ordinance to get to the full board. So something to
Alright.
think about.
Oh, Patty, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Simple question, because you can take a job anywhere. What brought you to Phillips?
No, a fair question. Ultimately, I just really wanted the challenge. I know that the governor said that the office was open for a while, and being a prosecutor, for the number of years I've been a prosecutor, I know how challenging it could be. So for a community of any size to go that long without structure or a DA, I could just imagine, I'm also feeling it now that I'm here, how devastating or how harmful that could be to the community. So just being someone who's really enjoyed being a prosecutor all this time, and I really like doing the work, seeing that this was an opportunity for me to try and help bring some more structure back to this community, because you didn't have it for a while without a DA. If they gave me the position, I was going to take it, knowing that I was walking into something I didn't know what I was walking into or what that would look like, but still willing to put in the work and be present to try and bring some structure and to try and get the DA's office, back on the right tracks. Again, you were without someone for such a while, for such a long time.
Well, it's a way more laid back lifestyle up here.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a little different, for sure. The traffic jams. None.
I don't know, the geese are pretty bad around here.
Well, we'd like to welcome you aboard and hope you're here to stay for a while.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you ready? Okay. I'm Deputy Mindy Dabler. I am currently the Humane Officer for Price County. I have been for about 3 years. I wanted to share with you one of the major cases that brought up this new ordinance that is being proposed. If you want to switch to the next. Okay, so in this particular case, in 2023, we received no animal-related complaints from this particular residence. In 2024, we received 3 animal-related complaints, and in 2025, we went all the way up to 20 animal-related complaints that were handled by the sheriff's office. The owners at that residence started with 2 dogs. Those dogs were allowed to breed. While the female was pregnant, the male dog was struck and killed by a car while running loose on the roadway. That was not reported. That was found out later. The female had 3 puppies. An occupant of the home also chose to purchase an additional 6-month-old dog. The animals were allowed to run free as a pack outside unattended. In 2024, no citations were issued to any occupants of the residence. In 2025, with these 20 complaints, 24 citations were issued to one of the occupants of the home for various violations relating to the dogs at the home. The violations included nuisance animals, failure to control animals, failure to obtain rabies vaccination, and failure to license. Another resident in the home was issued 3 citations for nuisance animals and failure to control animals. A third occupant of the home was issued 6 citations total for failure to control animals, nuisance animals, and trespassing related to the animal issues. In 2024, there were animal welfare checks requested by neighbors. There was also an incident where 2 dogs had come from that property and attacked and killed the chickens on the neighboring property. In 2025, complaints were received by the neighboring residents reporting numerous incidents where 2 to 5 dogs had entered their property. During these incidents, the dogs allegedly chased after and may have tried to attack people, dogs, and vehicles on the neighboring property, including a 3-year-old toddler. 12 of the 20 total complaints were of this nature. In 2025, in a very short period of time between June 19th and July 2nd, there were 5 dog bites reported from this residence. The first one that I responded to was a dog named Brownie. That was the additional dog that was purchased that was not related to the other dogs. A quarantine order was issued. Quarantine order was issued on June 24th. To a dog named Lucas, and then the 27th one was issued for Chase. On June 30th, which we did not know until July 2nd or so, the dog bit another person in Medford while it was supposed to be on quarantine and was not supposed to be having contact with anyone. And then July 2nd, another quarantine order was issued for Chase. At that time, I removed Chase from the residence. That was a second bite in Price County from that particular dog. 4 of the dogs were owned by 2 occupants of the home, and 1 dog was owned by a third occupant. However, all dogs were participating in the behavior. The neighbors, for the most part, could not tell the dogs apart as they were all related except for the one. All of them generally looked the same, 4 of the dogs. The neighbors began carrying sticks whenever they would go outside. The neighbors began bringing their own dog with them for protection when they were outside of their home. 10 of the complaints from neighbors where the dogs were chasing after them and acting aggressively came after the dog bite incidents. Had the ordinance existed at the time of the influx of bites, the following 10 complaints could have been prevented. Dangerous dog and vicious animal ordinances track with the particular animal that has bitten and require more than 1 bite or a severe attack by the same animal to take action with that animal. I did remove Chase from the home after the second bite incident in Price County. The owners were not quarantining the animal as required. A bite is not always an attack. I would not consider any of the bites in these incidents as attacks, as none of the bites were severe. However, all of the bites broke the skin of the victims. And the final page on here is a bite scale. So 1 and 2, if they're reported, I don't particularly take action with any of those. 3 and above, quarantine orders are issued if the skin is broken, no matter who the owner is. If there is a victim where the skin is broken, a quarantine order is issued and the animal has to be quarantined. Depending on if they're vaccinated or not, they will have to be quarantined at their home or in a facility. So in this, I am interested in only reportable bites, which would be level 3 and up, for this particular ordinance, which would be verified bites. Not that we can prove, not that anything that we cannot prove. And that would be it.
Okay, you guys have any questions in reference to the PowerPoint? Or you want, Mindy's here if you have questions on humane officer issues.
Patty, you have a question?
Yes. Question, and it was one I underlined. How do we prove or confirm a bite? Do we call EMS and let the medical people say this was a bite, or?
So typically, I don't get called to bites unless it's from a mandatory reporter. I mean, there have been a few cases where someone has called and reported, but typically it's a mandatory reporter, which means it comes from the hospital or EMS, something like that, where the hospitals are required to report any dog bite that comes in. So typically, the lay citizen does not call and report things. Usually if people get bit, they go to the doctor or something, and then those are the people that complain.
Okay.
Because they're mandatory reporters.
Okay.
The sheriff. I got a question for the sheriff. Can I go?
Mr. Warco?
Okay. During the public comment, I heard some concerns about people filing false complaints. What's the penalty for that?
For filing a false complaint against a police officer? Is
Well,
that what you're indicating? Or
Filing a false complaint that the dog bit him.
Well, we look as high as like sending paperwork over to the district attorney's office for obstructing, class A misdemeanor, 9 months, $10,000. We do have the ordinance now for obstructing, which the DA would get the paperwork, say, it doesn't rise to that level, I want a citation issued. Or the DA would do it like a no charge letter. But that would be at the discretion of the officer. And the other part would be, the investigation would have to somehow be twisted in a way where the person tried to obviously elude justice in a sense, if you want to call it that. But
It wouldn't be a smart thing to do.
correct. I mean,
That's what I want.
yeah. You're not a committee member.
But I have a question?
You're not a committee member. Put your hand down. You're elected, not a
I
committee.
can arrest you.
You can speak it. You can speak, Amy.
I just had a question. Is it still protocol to report dog bites to the public health department?
So when they're reported to me, they are reported to public health, and the quarantine orders are actually public health paperwork that, because we run 24 hours, we're serving those to the people. And then really that's my purpose, is to serve the quarantine. Then it goes to the health department, and then I do any follow-up if they're not following it. That could be the last time we have contact. Once I serve the quarantine, that could be the last time I have contact with them, as long as they're following the quarantine order. But if they don't, the health department gets a hold of me, and then I do follow up. Also, with the false reporting, if there is no proof and I cannot see any proof and it hasn't broken the skin, like, it's my job to make sure that it's a correct report. You know, I'm not going to take, oh, I heard that this happened back then and I don't see anything of that I can't do that.
Thank you, Mindy.
Yep.
Thanks, Mindy.
Any other questions? In reference?
Mr. Kopish, it looks like you're about to
Yeah,
ask a
I'm
question.
ready to ask one. When are we going to discuss the actual ordinance? Is that now or is that coming up?
That'll be coming up.
Okay. Because I have a couple questions about some things I heard here today.
If that's all you have for the sheriff's report for right now?
Well, for the ordinance, unless you want to go over the rest of the stuff, but if you want to discuss the ordinance, it's on your agenda for right now.
Yeah, let's go to the ordinance. What's your pleasure on amending the Price County Ordinance Section 223-44.1, habitual animal offender? Is there a motion to put it on the floor for discussion?
Some, second.
Motion by Warco, second by Kopish. We're now open for discussion.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye. We're open for discussion. Mr. Kopish.
Yeah, okay. Listening to Ginny's comments, I went through it and there are a lot of mays and there are a lot of shells. And my interpretation of a may is there's a choice on whether to do something or not. And shall means you got to do it. There's a may in that first paragraph. If the court orders no animal ownership under this section, a habitual offender may not own, possess, harbor, or keep. So that's a choice that that person has?
I would
or
believe that, to answer your question on that, Bob, is the court could then make that decision. If the court, it'd be maybe a condition of bond, it could be a condition of it's the discretion of the court.
Okay, the
may.
court, the first may is the court. The second one, if the court orders no animal ownership under the section of habitual, it orders no animal ownership, the offender may not own, possess. It's like the fifth line.
Yeah, after 10 years. Look after 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you don't have the numbers.
No, I got habitual animal offender under section 223-44.1. What we got up there?
No ownership.
You've got
under
where I have,
section
right?
May not
Okay.
own or keep custody. So if the court,
If the court orders it, shouldn't it be a shall?
It should be shall.
It should be no.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a shall? Okay.
It looks to me like it should.
The rest of them seem to, there's a decision that somebody can make, and if that's the way it's supposed to be, that's fine, but that's the one that stuck out. And then, under enforcement, under the section 2 appeal of removal, I see that the board gets involved to make a decision on the whole issue. Is that typical?
Yeah, we have that in one other one. Leanna had to do it one time. We talked about this, that it would come in front of the board as a review, kind of like we did in health, where it's, you guys have to make the final decision, like you're the judge and jury on an ordinance.
That seems to me like a slippery slope, getting 13 members involved in something like this. I don't know if it doesn't go through the law enforcement committee, it goes right to the board. I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable.
That's an hour meeting just on that.
Has Clark Council looked this over?
Yeah, we received it
Yeah,
from.
that's who wrote it for
That's
us.
who wrote it.
Paragraph 2, for that enforcement, item C, down towards the bottom.
Yeah.
If the person agrees, removal disagrees with the decision by the Price County Sheriff, that person may appeal the decision by submitting a written request to the Price County Administrator, and the matter shall be heard at the next regularly scheduled Price County Board meeting. The parties shall be entitled to present evidence, be represented by counsel, and be afforded sufficient due process. The Price County Board shall affirm, modify, or rescind the removal and shall issue its decision in writing.
I think it's part of your due process, Bill. Is like
Yeah,
people are concerned
I
with.
guess. We only have to be 18 years old, not a felon, and live in the county. That's our expertise. So I'm just bringing that
But
up.
the
as a-
public entrusts you because they vote for you.
I
Robert.
understand.
So I'm sorry, Bob. Could
Yeah.
you just repeat what was your concern?
The fact
again?
that the board is getting involved in that process to determine whether or not that should stand or be rescinded.
Mr. Palchik, may I comment?
Sure.
Mr. Kopish, would you feel more comfortable if it went through the committee first?
Well, if it ends up in the same place, I don't know. I mean, it's getting the politicians involved is where I have a little bit of discomfort
That's fine.
on an issue like this. That's my issue.
I guess my comment is I can see why it may have been written that way. Because at that point, after the appeal process has gone through the sheriff's office, if the person continues to want to appeal the decision from the sheriff, it gives them an opportunity to come before a neutral body, someone who can take more of an objective view on the matter and then make a decision from there. It gives that person an opportunity to have that their concerns heard by someone less disinterested in the case. And again, like I said, make more of an objective, neutral view or forming a neutral opinion about what should happen next.
And I believe after you guys, someone can take it to the circuit court too.
There is a step beyond this then.
I would believe so, yeah.
Because
I
I
mean,
mean, you've got representation represented by counsel and so forth and so on. So it just seems like, I don't know that the board should be the final say. So you think there is,
well, I would believe that the person, if they want to keep appealing, they can
they
take all
could
this
take it to a higher level?
higher court, take it to the court system.
Yeah,
That's our part of our due process.
Yeah, okay.
I feel we have our bases covered, but I would like to have it come before this committee first and then to the county board
I
with
think,
our recommendation.
yeah, the only concern with that is if it comes here, you make a decision and then it goes to the next level, you've taken 5 members out of the decision-making process at the full board because they're not a neutral party then. Same with like when we have an employee grievance, the admin committee or any other committee doesn't hear it first because then they lose the right to, or they no longer are part of the appeal because you've been tainted. You've pre-heard it, you've made a decision. Now they're supposed to go in front of a group of 13 people where 5 of them have already made a decision one way or the other. So I think that's the concern. If anything, you would take the board out completely and just say it's this group that does it. But then there'd be an argument to go to the next level saying, well, of course you're going to back the sheriff. It's his committee. So that's where we're eliminating a lot of those little concerns of
Plus
there's a bias.
you have to deal with a living animal. As you guys, as this process rolls along, we're going to be having an animal under, we're going to be paying for it. So the longer you do the process, the longer the taxpayers pay Catkins to hold the animal until some decisions are made either through this process or through circuit court, something along those lines.
We went through a deal like this with the cats that were involved in that divorce, and it cost us $52,000 before it was settled. I think this is probably a quicker way to get by that. There's no way we can make an ordinance for every situation that would come up. That's my opinion.
But if there's the opportunity to challenge what the board determines, we're still in that same situation, right? We still got to hang on to the animal until that gets decided.
And obviously Corporation Council would guide us to that. Plus
Yeah.
the court would order things like that.
Yeah, okay.
And this is not the same issue because
This is biting.
in the other one, now we have some things in place that we would move faster. This is a whole different issue. Chances are it's not a hoarding. So yeah, you might have one animal that you have to maintain. It's not going to be the 14 cats at $10 a day.
When it comes before the board, there's always the question of whether a person is, or a board member is going to be objective or vote by emotion. That's the dangers in that. Elected board members usually get emotional about some issues.
Eddie?
When we remove these animals, where do they go? To another owner?
They
Where-
go to
where do-
Catkins.
Okay,
then
and then
after that,
where do they go?
So if they're adoptable, they go to Catkins and then Catkins adopts them out. If they're not adoptable, then I have to make decisions on whether the animal can go to somebody else or not. If they're not adoptable, I would have to put them down. With a bite history, they would not be adoptable at Catkins.
So based on the conversation, I did highlight the one word. Is that going to be, is anybody making a motion to change that may to?
If that's where we are, Mr. Chair, should I make the motion to amend for that one word? To change it from may and to shall?
Sure.
And that's the word you got highlighted there?
14.
Okay, so I will make that motion to make that amendment.
Motion to amend the ordinance. Is there a second? Motion by Kopish, second by Wartko. We'll have a vote on the amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. With that, I think we're set to vote on the ordinance. We asked the Sheriff's Department to come up with this because of the problems Mindy was having. And they did and took it to Corp Council, and I think we should vote on whether to pass it as amended or not. So is there any further discussion on this? If not, I'll accept a motion to pass the ordinance with the amendment as presented.
That was these two earlier.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
The one last comment I have, I think we talked a lot about the taking of animals. This isn't really about taking. This is about no longer having them in the future, just to clarify. So this would limit that household, and Mindy, you can talk about that. So you find this, or this happens, this goes through the court, then would order for the next X years, not just an owner, which is what we can currently do. It's now that residence or where that person resides, because the problem is we were having other individuals in the residence say, well, that's my dog now, and we have a repeat issue. So that's more of what this was than the ability to remove animals. That's always been there. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, in this particular case that I brought up, those people go in spurts where, depending on their circumstances, the animals are out doing things that they shouldn't. The household is absolutely atrocious at times, and sometimes it's better. There's never consistent ownership and consistent care of the animals. And in my experience so far, it's been the people who are letting the animals out to do whatever animals do are not consistently caring for them, and they're, for lack of a better word, bad owners in some instances where it doesn't get better. So if these animals are taken away, typically they get more. And this would prevent that.
Yeah, it's a lot of removal and replacement by the
Mhm.
owners, and that's the struggle.
I had an elderly neighbor one time that explained this pretty good. He said, if you have a dog and it only bothers you, he said, that's fine. But he said, if you have a dog and it bothers your neighbors, he said, then it's a problem. So we're just trying to rid ourselves of problems. So if there's no further discussion, I'll call for a vote on the motion and as amended. Will you read it back to us, Meredith, please?
Yes. I have motion Wartko, second Kopish, to approve the ordinance, amend Price County Ordinance, Section 223-44.1, with the amendment to line 15, striking word may and making the word shall.
Sound good? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to the second ordinance, section 223-19, definitions. Is there a motion to get this on the floor? Motion by Kopish,
Second.
second by Stefan. We're open for discussion.
This is the definition.
Correct.
I can find my page then. Question.
Yes, Patty?
Being new to all this, I just want to get the official clarity on line 12, where it says any animal owner or harborer who within any 3-year period is line 12 convicted. That means in the court?
Yes.
Okay. So that's serious stuff if it goes all the way.
It would either be convicted or they plead guilty to. I mean, either way, they're found guilty of the citation.
Okay.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? If not, I'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Mr. Sheriff, we can go on with the agenda. Thank you, Mindy, for your explanation for everything. We appreciate that. Equipment update.
So as everyone's aware, you guys are working on the radio project. Nick and I, Bob, Han, Chief Deputy, and trying to, decipher what's the future holds for our radio project. So I guess we're just waiting, kind of in limbo, waiting to see how that goes. Unless Nick has something further. I haven't heard anything from Bug Tussle. I haven't heard from anything. We did talk to Motorola that one time a little while back.
I have an updated map from Bug Tussle from our board meeting, but besides that, we haven't had any more conversations since then.
Yeah.
We're keeping the pressure on them because we're way past the 11th hour. And we either have to take this and run or go with Bug Tussle. Mr. Kopish, you had a question?
Yeah, Brian, what you're wanting to do and the discussions you've had with the Motorola, as far as whoever it is, whoever the vendor is, as far as the equipment that you want to put on these towers, is it particular to the Bug Tussle project? Or if we didn't have Bug Tussle, we'd be trying to do the same thing, but in a different manner?
Correct.
The same towers
Oh,
in the
we-
same places and all that stuff?
Propagation reports, paperwork, getting towers where we want them put, the equipment put on the towers, related to that.
Okay, so you're not out on a limb with Bug Tussle, and then if we don't get Bug Tussle, then we got to redesign everything?
No.
Everything's going to be consistent no matter what we do?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only thing that would be inconsistent would be the size of the equipment. So if we have 6 towers, you can get smaller units. If you have 3 towers, you get bigger units. So the same manufacturer, same product line, it's just a matter of size.
Okay, what I'm hearing, that it is possible we would go with fewer towers
Yeah.
and
yep,
different size equipment.
Yep. But the equipment gets really expensive when you have to push the
Yeah,
information out. So the more small ones you can have, it's more efficient and cheaper.
okay. So, yeah, okay.
What
So there
would
may
the
be
time-
some changes depending upon what the question I asked.
And
but-
we've worked with Northway and Motorola to talk about that. Yep.
Okay,
yep.
all right. Thank you.
But we're still out 18 months to 2 years if we go it on our own.
Yeah.
Either way. No matter the line of progress, we're 18 months to 2 years. We're that 2028.
So what you said is if Bug Tussle says we're not going to do it, or we decide we're
We'll
not
keep
going to want them
moving.
to do it, it's
Yep.
still going to take us 18 months to
Oh,
get
yeah,
something in.
yep,
That's
yep.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Between borrowing, getting the equipment, getting it installed, getting all the new radios.
You know how to borrow money.
I'm good at that. You guys vote for it every time.
No, you're the gatekeeper.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
He looks really good as the gatekeeper when he's dressed up.
I thought it was Lex Luthor for a moment.
I haven't
God.
decided my path.
Well, again, you're looking at everything's disclaimed, and it's all of a sudden, then might as well just put entertainment purposes only on the thing. Moving on, Chairman Palachek, staffing update. Drew is back from the Eastern Europe. He does have, under USERA law, he does have some vacation, so he will be taking some military leave as far as vacation. So that'll be determined by himself. Dawson, we did hire an individual, will be starting May 18th in first phase of the FTO process. We do have another individual, Brandon. He is going to be working with us going through recruit school, which we're sponsoring. So Brandon will be done in that September, October-ish timeframe. Yeah. So he'll be able to come on board. Then he'll go through the FTO process through phase 1. Animal control, you already heard from Mindy. Unless you guys have any other questions, since we've been standing here talking, if there's any questions, we can always do that. Canine unit, Dixon is part of that canine unit that, in my opinion, is far well exceeded training wise. Excellent dog. Joe and Dixon work very well together. Joe will be taking Dixon to get recertified here in a month, end of the month. So regardless of people's opinions of the sheriff's office canine units, Dixon does a very good job.
Where will the recertification take place?
Michigan. That's where we got Dixon from, that kennel down there. So Joel transport, usually him and Ivy just go down, they just, hang out down there, and then Dixon gets recertified. Actually, they don't hang out. Joe has to actually work and do things. Ivy gets to hang out. Yeah, the dog just, so, but Dixon will be, obviously, when Joel has his time for retirement, Dixon will retire. And as I've started the program up, when we all got together, the chief deputy, the county board, the people that helped fund us, this still is my wish and still want that Dixon will go with Joel in retirement. So that's what I've, I guess, created. And the same with Kane. When Kane comes up for retirement, that would be Craig's dog then.
How far are we into the third dog?
And I haven't started the process because realistically, we still have several months. We can wait, with the transition to the election in November. Who's ever, well, I'll just say it, Bob's going to be sheriff at some point here. And so when he decides that he wants to do another canine, I think that'd be a process I can start helping with. Mm-hmm. And then the transition would be up to him.
It's something we don't want to let fall by the wayside.
No, I won't. I've still got it in my radar. It's in my wheelhouse right now. So, and the same goes for the other items that we've discussed. I've talked with Nick. At some point, I may try to bring a resolution to you folks as far as the machine guns that are in the sheriff's office. I don't want those sold. I think that's a heirloom that belongs to the county and the taxpayers and people. So that's something that's a side gig.
They're not, they're a display. It's not a.
No, I think they know it.
I know, but
the
those
Thompson
listening are just
centerfire
like,
Tommy guns.
Yeah, there's historical.
They're historical
firearms.
value, and that the sheriff got back in the 40s, or the 20s. I'm sorry. The rec officer is Joel is still helping out with stuff on the road. He is starting to get ready for obviously the boating season. I know Robert, you appreciate the snowmobile. You like to hear the reports and stuff like that. So if that's something you guys want, let me know. I'll talk with Joel. We can get the snowmobile season kind of identified and advise you the patrol and citation and all that stuff if you need. Jail update. There's 16 in-house currently, and they're inmates, not residents. And there's one on EMP. So that's where we sit in the jail at this time. Questions, comments, concerns?
Do we take the machine guns out once in a while and blow the dust out of the barrel?
I was planning on doing that, maybe get a hold of Mike Schnautz, go up to Butternut, and then have Bob, and I know there's a couple of deputies that are interested in putting some, I guess some ammo through it and stuff. They can make sure they're working order, but Yeah, we try to get them cleaned up every so often.
What
And
caliber are they?
45. I only have sticks for it. I don't have drums. So, but that, like I said, in the 20s, the sheriff got them. They were registered with the NFA in 1942. So,
Well, they're part of our history then. Does anybody on the committee have any questions for the sheriff?
If I may,
Sure.
just curious, are we still pursuing the possibility of getting that SWAT type vehicle or is that?
um,
passed?
we're, like I said, for the 1033 program, we are high priority for Wisconsin, but nationwide, we are not. There are other communities. So like the one we found obviously in Florida, that went to someone else. We found one out in, I think, the East Coast, that went to someone else. So we're still on the list and still entertaining and investigating as always. Obviously Robert wanted to buy us one for 600,000, but I said, no, please, Bob. But no, if we can find something that can be obviously a governmental, no, Bob Kopish, she wanted to give us one.
I want to know why didn't you take it? Why did you refuse?
Oh yeah. I just, Bob's a politician. We gotta make sure he's safe, So no, we're still entertaining it, Brian. It's just, something that we're waiting to see what, I guess, reveals itself through the program. And again, to save tax money and save things, if we can get it free for use.
Are there any other comments for the sheriff? If not, thanks for your report.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank the staff that came here today from the sheriff's department. Okay, what's your pleasure on the committee vouchers? I think they've all been around.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kopish, second by Stefan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The date of our next meeting is June 4th, 2026. We've exhausted our agenda, so I declare the meeting adjourned. We did a good stroke of business today.